All right, quick quiz in the comments section. Texas Motor Speedway is rumored to be reconfigured starting after the 2023 season. And I'm very curious about what you guys think it will end up being. A, will it be like a short track like they're planning to do to Fontana? B, will it be an Atlanta-style superspeedway, flat-out drafting fest and crash fest? Or C, do you think they're going to actually screw the brain on right and put Texas Motor Speedway back the way it was with an identical turns 1 and turn 2? I think it's going to be a very interesting discussion down in the comments section below. And frankly, I'm beginning to lean towards B, but we'll be talking about that later. I think one other thing that people are very, very interested in hearing about is that Kyle Busch has set an ideal timeline for the end of his career as he continues to struggle to put a deal together for the 2023 NASCAR Cup Series season. So in this video, we'll be talking about Kyle Busch and those interesting comments that he had this weekend. We'll also talk about the possible effects of a Kyle Busch decision with Kevin Harvick's win streak that he has been on recently. Could it mean that Kyle Busch might actually want to go to Stewart-Haas Racing, and many of the other possibilities out there? But first, the world of racing has been insane right now, as you would know if you are currently subscribed to me. And if you're not, go down below right now and hit that subscribe button. It's the best way to let YouTube know that you want more of my content, from Alex Palou to Kyle Busch. And oh, by the way, while you're down there, hit the like button if you are enjoying the content, because it's fun to make. Last night, we had our first real look at a potential Texas Motor Speedway reconfiguration, and the fact that this is the first real confirmation that it's actually coming, as well as a NASCAR date change away from the All-Star race weekend, moving the race to the end of April versus the end of May. Now, what's also interesting about that date is it sounds like, from Slap Shoes, and I got to give my brother Slap a shout out here, that it might be replacing the Texas Motor Speedway Spring Race, might be replacing Circuit of the Americas on the calendar. As we know, Texas Motor Speedway got that date, or allowed that date to happen in the first place. Texas Motor Speedway is always very protective of Circuit of the Americas, or the fact that they want their track spotlighted and not Circuit of the Americas. So it would make sense that maybe Texas has ixnayed the Circuit of the Americas date as well. But perhaps more importantly to many of my regular viewers, as reported by the Speed Freaks, this change might also include IndyCar leaving the track after the 2023 season, which would indicate that the track will be made incompatible with IndyCar racing, which makes me think it will be a very, very short track, kind of like what they're doing to Fontana. Now, it would be nice if they would do a short track that would be like Iowa Speedway or Milwaukee or Nazareth, which would be compatible with IndyCars, but I suspect if they're trying to quote-unquote improve the product, and we've talked about what NASCAR ease is for improving the product, generally it means more contact and more wrecks. A short track that's NASCAR styled these days is probably not going to be compatible with IndyCar racing, and ditto for a pack racing super speedway like what they've done to Atlanta. Atlanta was fast and dangerous when before they reconfigured it for IndyCars. It certainly would be now, and if Texas Motor Speedway made it a flat-out drafting fest and big high banking, it just wouldn't work. The cars would be incompatible, and therefore this report that potentially IndyCar could leave Texas Motor Speedway after this reconfiguration would seem to back that up. If you missed my video last week about Kimi Räikkönen testing at Virginia International Raceway for Action Express Racing ahead of a debut at Watkins Glen this weekend for Team Trackhouse, well, today Team Trackhouse's Project 91, which is a project specially designed for drivers of different racing disciplines to come over and race in the NASCAR Cup Series, have revealed their livery for the 2007 World Champions NASCAR Cup Series debut. And I have to say, it's a nice blue, black, and yellow livery, though I think it would be nicer to have a purple and yellow 91 out there. Purple, yellow, and black, actually. Those are exactly my racing colors, but I digress. So it's nice to see the 91 back out there. Okay, here's the Kyle Busch update after Richmond. And if you don't already know, here's the refresher on the whole Kyle Busch saga up until this point. In December of last year, M&Ms Mars announced that they were leaving at the end of this year. Now, Kyle Busch has a $14 million a year paycheck from Joe Gibbs Racing, which has been the sticking point this entire time with a potential return for him to that team. M&M's pays about $24 million a year to Joe Gibbs Racing. Now, Gibbs almost found a sponsor in Red Bull Racing title sponsor Oracle to fill that gap and bring Kyle Busch back onto the team, but it fell through. Toyota then tried to find a way to keep Busch in the Toyota family, but it seemingly has failed. Even Toyota's boss, David Wilson, admitted that this was a very tall task from the beginning, and it seems as though Toyota will not be able to find Kyle Busch a ride either in the Cup Series or elsewhere. Busch then began talking to teams that were not affiliated with Toyota, meaning a Ford and a Chevy team. Those Ford and Chevy teams are Stewart-Haas Racing and Kaulig Racing. Now, specific to Stewart-Haas, Gene Haas, the owner or co-owner of Stewart-Haas Racing, specifically made an effort to be at Pocono to court Busch, and many believe that it's possibly to replace Cole Custer at the team. Now, interestingly, when Kyle Busch was asked about his salary at Indianapolis, he said that he would be willing to take a pay cut. This then led into some interesting comments from Kevin Harvick, who seemed very interested at the possibility of working with Kyle Busch, going so far as to have a very big smile on his face whenever he was asked about him, and specifically saying that Kyle Busch had the ability to raise the profile of a mid-pack team. Now, Kyle Busch said almost the exact same thing, though not specifically about Stewart-Haas Racing, but mainly that he was interested in the possibility of raising a team up. Now, it came out last week that Joe Gibbs has essentially given up trying to sign Kyle Busch because likely they are heading to sign his grandson, Ty Gibbs, who ironically is currently racing in the Cup Series as a replacement for a Busch brother, but it's Kurt who got injured at Pocono. Now, Kyle had some very interesting comments this weekend at Richmond about his future, and this is what he had to say when questioned. I've got 6, 7, maybe 8 more years if I play this out perfectly. Brexton and I will share a truck when he turns 16, and when he turns 18, I'm done. So all you Kyle Busch haters, and I see you guys in the comments of every Kyle Busch video that I do, is you got to wait at least until 2030, potentially, for Kyle Busch to leave. You're not getting rid of him that easy. But I also think it's very interesting when talking about contracts and thinking about timelines and thinking about all the things that are under consideration when a driver of Kyle Busch's caliber and star power is trying to get into a team. It's not just, oh, well, I'll go sign with Stewart-Haas Racing. There's many other considerations, like that truck team. Toyota right now is a huge part of Kyle Busch Motorsports. If he leaves Toyota, presumably goes to another manufacturer, Ford or Chevy is going to have to pick up the cost of that and supply Kyle Busch with what he needs to run his truck team, because clearly Brexton is in his future plans, and running a truck for Brexton is what Kyle Busch wants to do. Additionally, you have to think about what team is going to be trying to hang on to Kyle Busch for 8 years or sign him to that long term of a contract. Now, the good news is that it would seem that both Kaulig and Stewart-Haas would be in a position to do so. Stewart-Haas has committed to Kevin Harvick for a long time and is continuing to pay the dividends with a 2-race win streak. And that may sway Kyle Busch a little bit to say, hey, maybe this team isn't as mid-level as maybe I thought it was. But I would also say that it's an interesting possibility with Kaulig, because Kaulig, it may fit with them a little bit better, because if you're thinking long term with NASCAR racing, becoming a regular winner in the Cup Series, you're going to have to build. Well, how do you build? You find a solid driver who knows what he's doing and can help you reach that next level. And it probably will take a new team like Colleague, at least in the Cup Series, probably 8 years to kind of get up to a Hendrick Motorsports level. But I think Kyle Busch is exactly the type of driver who could help make that happen. So I could see committing to 8 years of Kyle Busch, and I could see Stewart-Haas Racing committing to 8 years of Kyle Busch. And again, that Truck Series team is going to have to be around for 8 more years. So you're committing to 8 years of Kyle Busch. You're committing to 8 years of a Truck Series team at least, and possibly more with Brexton, depending on how long he stays in the Truck Series. There's a lot to go over here, and it's a very complicated process. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think where do you think Kyle Busch will land? Let me know down in the comments section. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next video.